Hello student, welcome to Dr. D.Y. Patel Vidyapit Pune. Myself I am Dr. Yogesh Zuzare, Assistant Professor for Certificate Program in Hospital and Healthcare Management. I am also the Program Coordinator for the Certificate Program in Hospital and Healthcare Management. So welcome to Dr. D.Y. Patel Vidyapit Center for Online Learning. And this is our first virtual classroom for the Certificate Program in Hospital and Healthcare Management. Welcome student to this wonderful virtual class where we are going to study one of the important course of this certificate program, that is the indoor and outdoor hospital services. So what exactly is the indoor and outdoor hospital services? What are the things that we are going to learn in this particular session? Why this subject is important for all of us, for medicals, for hospital administrators, as well as what are the important roles that this course will play in improving the quality of healthcare. My dear friends, we all are related to the medical field in certain way. As I am also a doctor by profession, I am a medical doctor. I am dealing with several patients, and especially in some of the countries, mostly in Asian countries, the quality of healthcare has raised a lot of questions. You might have visited several government hospitals where you might have seen various conditions related to the quality of healthcare. Now, in Asian countries, mostly in some of the Asian countries, and especially in their government hospitals, we are going to observe a lot of crowding of the patients as well as the crowding of their relatives, and which is ultimately affecting onto the care part of the patient. In government hospitals, especially in countries like India, where there is a mixed combination of the hospitals. We are, on the one hand, there are a lot of private hospitals in India which are providing a very high world-class quality of care to the patients. And on one side, there are certain government hospitals, there are certain government medical institutions which are also doing their best. The one institute, a supreme institute, we can say, in our India, that is the AIIMS, New Delhi, where we're going to find out that very high quality of healthcare is being provided. Some of the government hospitals like Bombay hospitals, they're also providing a very high quality of care to their patients. But what happens in some rural areas, in some undeveloped states, and what happens into their hospitals, their primary healthcare centers, their tertiary healthcare centers, we are going to find out that there are a lot of crowding of the patients. The quality of care is not being provided as it is required. We can see that many patients, they are coming into the hospitals for being treated for one disease, but they are getting infected with other one. Generally, we call it as an opportunistic infections or hospital-acquired infections, which are being occurred not into the society, not into the social environment, but it's that hospital-acquired infections. They occur because the patient was admitted and because the patient has entered into the premises of the hospital. Now, this is very poor thing, where one patient who wants to get treated for one disease and he gets entered into the premises of the hospital, and there it has been expected that he should get a complete cure. He should go happily at his home after receiving the treatment, any type of treatment. But that is not getting happening to the many hospitals. Why this thing is happening? Why there are a lot of, we can say, the hospital-acquired infections, poor quality of care is being observed, because there is no proper management of the hospital services. Now, what are the various hospital services that we should see? We must have to observe that various hospitals, they are providing various hospital services under one roof. In one multi-speciality hospitals, we can find out several departments. When you enter into the premises hospital, there is one casualty department. There are some accident, and yes, casualty department is a entry of the hospital, we can say, as well as it is called as an accident emergency department of the hospitals, where patients they are being treated on the emergency basis. So that is the one department. So as that is the one department, there are also other departments. Like there is an administrative department. There are indoor hospital department. We can see that there are in IPD patients, there are OPD patients. Now what is the IPD and what is OPD? Now in this indoor and outdoor hospital services course, we are going to learn the various departments of one hospital, which are located inside the hospitals and which are also the front area of the hospital. You can see that like an OPD, outpatient department, it is a segregated department of the hospitals because it is not giving an admission to the patient, but yes, it is a channel of entry of patient where the primary symptoms they are being noted into the outpatient department. Now, what is the outpatient department? What is the inpatient department? That must have to be understood and must be classified. Into one hospital, there are outpatient department, into the IPD department, that is in internal patient department. Where into the IPDs especially, there are other several departments, which are like ICU is in one of the department of the IPD. Your gynecological departments are there, radiological departments are there, pathological department is there, or pathological section is there, where the patients are supposed to take the treatment for their diseases which they are suffering. Now, talking about the outpatient department, now we are going to learn various departments of the hospital in this particular course of indoor and outdoor hospital services, where you will be able to understand what are the in and out of this particular course and as well as that of the hospitals. Now, this course has covered all the facets of the hospitals, all the services of the hospitals will be understood within this particular course. So this course will let you understood what exactly are the services of the hospitals, how the services can be improved, what are the standard services must be provided by the hospitals. So that you will be going to understood in this particular course of indoor and outdoor hospital services. In this 6-month duration, we are going to learn various other courses also. This is one of the course of the certificate program in hospital healthcare management, where you will have a deep understanding about the total departments of the hospitals, the kind of services that are being provided, the nature of the hospital services that are being provided to the patients, and what should be the standard of the care which should be delivered, that you will understood after learning this course of indoor and outdoor hospital services. Now, we will start our first unit of this course, that is the outpatient department. This is the first unit of this course. So, we will start this study, but what exactly we mean by the outpatient department. As you are going to find out on the screen, what exactly is the OPD. Now, OPD is the point of contact between the hospital and the community. It is the first impression of a hospital. It is the first point of contact in between the patients and the hospitals. Generally, many people they say that it is the shop window of the hospital. As we have, ever you have visited the market, or say vegetable market or a general market, where you will be going to find out that there are several shops which are having their shop window. for displaying their items, for attracting their customers, for giving quick services. These shopkeepers, they are keeping the shop windows. In the same way, to provide a quick healthcare services, this outpatient department is required. It is the first point of contact. Now, why this outpatient department has been said as a first point of a contact in between the hospital and the community? Because many patients who have first noticed that they are suffering from fever, they are suffering from say body ache, they are suffering from a headache, they are suffering from any kind of symptoms, they will be more conscious, they will be self-conscious, they can mobilize themselves by simply walking into the OPD. They will not require that much of help as that of the IPD patients. You can all understood what do we mean by the outpatient department on the basis of the type of the patient. Who will be the patient into the outpatient department? That is my first question to you. What exactly the patients will be there into the OPD? What are the kind of the patients who will be going to visit the OPD? Those patients who are having some symptoms, who are having primary symptoms of any diseases, and they are feeling somewhat uneasiness, and they want a perfect cure. For that purpose, they are coming to visit the outpatient department, and they are coming to visit their doctors for getting treated for their sufferings. But if I am suffering from, say, a body ache or a simple headache, why I should go to the accident and emergency services department? Definitely, if I am suffering from headache, I will definitely try to visit my family physician, as well as I will try to see that in this hospital whether there are OPDs which are working. And in OPD, I will not have to engage my more time. I will be going to consult a doctor. I will be going to get a prescription which will at the most will contain some medicines, some OPD injections, or some palliative treatment for my suffering. Now, at the same time, if I visit to the ICU and I will talk to the doctors that yes, sir, I am suffering from headache, it might be a sign of cardiac arrest, or it might be a sign of the, say, an cardiac pain or a cardiac attack or acute mitral infarction. If that is the case, the doctor will say, so if you have came directly to our hospitals into the ICU, why you cannot go to the OPDs where you will be going to get palliative, where you will get a palliative treatment into those OPDs. So there, if I go to the ICUs, definitely I am going to disturb the ICU. I will be going to disturb the doctors who are treating the patients, as well as I will be going to take the valuable times of the consultants into the ICUs. I will waste their time. Wherever doctors who are available into the outpatient department, they can give me the treatment. If they are unavailable, then I should go to, say, accident emergency department, or I can go to IPDs as per the reference of my doctor. So this is why this is called as a shop, OPD is called as a shop window of hospital, where the patient will get a palliative treatment, patient will get a proper prescription, and on the basis of prescription, they will get the medicine. At the same time, the patient will not have a need to stay in a hospital over a period of night. So these are the advantages of the OPD. These are the advantages of showing your sufferings into the OPDs. Now this is called as an OPD. That's why it is called as a shop window of a hospital. Now, what do we mean exactly by the outpatient department? Now, outpatient department is defined as the one section of the hospital with allotted physical as well as medical facilities, which contains the medical and other staff in sufficient number, with regularly scheduled hours of treatment, which have to provide a care for patients who are not registered as an inpatient department. So that is what is a type of the patients. That is what is the nature of patients into the hospitals. Now, what are the various types of the OPDs? There are various types of OPDs also. We have seen that there are various departments in the hospital. Now, as the OPDs are providing various types of services to the patients, these OPDs have been classified in broader terms. Like, there are two types of OPD. One is called as a centralized OPD, other is called a decentralized OPD. What is a centralized OPD then? This centralized OPD has been grouped together in the form of OPD complex. The consultants from different departments, they came to visit these areas for OPD work. This is called as a centralized OPD, where there are people, or we can say that the consultant from different departments, they are coming together and they are sitting into their cabins. This is called as a centralized OPD. Now, what is a decentralized OPD then? The outpatient case care is provided into the respective department of the hospital. For example, a gynecological OPD may be attached with the labor rooms, with the gynecological department, with the mother and daycare department. So this is called as the decentralized OPD. Where, what are the advantages? First of all, I would have to clarify you what are the advantages of the decentralized OPD. Now, when you are going to treat the patient of, say, a gynecological patient, if you are treating, then these patients, they might require some additional care. If suppose, if the one lady who is into the, say, last trimester of her pregnancy, if she has came into your OPD and if she has suddenly started some labor things, what you will do at them in those OPD? You will likely to transfer that lady directly into the labor rooms. So if you are working into the centralized OPD, the distance from your OPD to the labor room may be far away, or you can say that may be too large. So if you are sitting into the decentralized OPD, when you are sitting into the OPD which is attached to their IPD, which is having the same sort of, which are providing the same sort of services to the patient, then it becomes easy for the doctors to refer that patient and admit that patient into the concerned department, and even the patient will get the continuous treatment as well as they will get the proper treatment into the hospitals within a shorter period of time. That is the benefit of this decentralized OPD. So what do you mean by centralized OPD then? What are their advantages? Why this centralized OPD is being preferred by many of the doctors? So as you can see that centralized OPD and decentralized OPD, they have their own advantages and disadvantages also. You can see that centralized OPD is an OPD which is grouped together in the form of OPD complex. Consultants from different departments, they came to visit these areas for doing their OPD work. Now, what are the various advantages of this centralized OPD? Patients from the centralized OPD, they will have quick references for getting the treatment. If suppose I am suffering from, say, hypertension, and if my hypertension is related with the renal problems, then that cardiac consultant may directly refer to me towards the nephrologist who is available just outside of the OPD premises. His OPD might be very closely associated with the other OPDs, and where I will be going to get a quick references and a quick treatment into that is centralized OPD. So these are the advantages of the centralized OPD. Now, as you can see that there are disadvantages also. What will happen if suppose that OPD which is attached to the hospitals, which is not attached with the IPDs, then what will happen to that work that we have seen that if the lady is suffering from a labor pain, what will happen? You will not have a time to shift that lady into the labor pain. I have seen many cases where the normal delivery has occurred mostly into the OPD of the consultant only. Even I have seen one patient who was suffering from a labor pain. She has delivered a baby into the public transport system only because she was not having the time to get a treatment. So such a fast thing has happened. If there are, say, some quick things are happening into the medical fields, then you must be ready with your plan B for giving a treatment to the patient. So these are the types of the OPD, that is called as centralized OPD and the decentralized OPD. And also we have discussed their advantages and the disadvantages. Now, what are the various functions of the OPD? What exactly the outpatient departments they are doing to give treatment to the patient? Now, what are the functions of the OPD? To provide specialist and diagnostic medical options to the outpatient department, as well as to treat the patients on ambulatory basis or domiciliary basis. You have to screen patients for hospitalization. You have to make the follow-up of a treatment of a discharged patients. You have to give them a proper training and education of medical, paramedical and the nursing staff. These are the various functions of the outpatient department. Now, what are the other functions of the OPD? Generally, into the outpatient department, if the consultants they are giving a treatment, they are going to give some advice to the patients in the form of doing some investigation. So OPD has another function, that they have a function to collect the blood samples for doing the further investigations. They are also having another functions, that they have a function of collection of the blood sample, urine sample, as well as they are also working as a center for providing medical records. Compilation and analysis of medical records can be done into the OPD, which might be very helpful for the further research and further studies into medical sciences. They also provide a primary health care. So that is the first function of OPD. They have to provide a primary health care to the patients with the help of providing health education, immunization, well-being clinic, voluntary counseling and testing care centers. For HIV and AIDS patients, these are the various, we can say, the functions of the OPD. Now, one disease which has really created a headache for everyone into the world on today's date, we can see that is an infection. That is nothing of the coronavirus infection. Everybody has been threatened by that infection. What exactly are the duties of a doctor who are serving into the OPDs? They have a duty to segregate the patients who are suffering from some respiratory problems. They have a duty to notify as well as to locate and identify who are the patients who are suffering from such a sort of symptoms which are matching with the symptoms of the coronavirus infection. So that patient should be segregated, because these patients, they will be going to report only into the OPDs. If I am suffering from watery nose, if I am suffering from sore throat, what I will do? Generally, in countries like India and some Asian countries, people have a habit directly to purchase medicines from the medical stores and get treated or get a palliative treatment. If I am not suffering well, then I will go to the OPD and I will ask doctor, I am suffering from these and these symptoms. So it is now in today's date, it is the duty of a doctors to identify the patients, to provide a quality of care, as well as to identify quickly the patients who are not suffering from a common cold. They should be identified and they should be noticed to the government officials for further treatment. So that is what is the duty and work of a doctor into the OPD. This is the main primary function of a doctor into the outpatient department. So that we can give a proper treatment for a proper disease into the OPD. Now, what should be the location of the outpatient department? When you are talking about a location of the outpatient department, where it should be located? If the building of the hospital is a 3-story building, where we should have to locate our OPD. As this is a shop window of the hospital, it should be located onto the ground floor of the hospital. It should share the IPD. It should be shared with the IPDs, diagnostic and therapeutic facilities. It should have an unidirectional flow. It should have a scope of expansion. That is what is the location of the OPD. What should be the layout of OPD? What should be the standard sizes of an outpatient department? As per the Bureau of Indian Standards, OPD should have 2 square meter per bed for entrance, 10 square meter bed for ambulatory zones, 6 square meter per bed for diagnostic zones. That is what is the exact size. 60 square meter bed for a total hospital area. So that is what is the standard size as according to the Bureau of Indian Standards for outpatient department. Now, what could be the organizational structures? What should be the composition of the outpatient department? Who are involved in completing the work of the outpatient department? These questions can be understood with the help of understanding and observing the organizational structure of the outpatient department. Now, what should be the organizational structure? There should be some OPD in charge into the hospitals, into the outpatient department of the hospitals, who should regulate the OPD working hours, who should regulate the services of the OPD, who should maintain the equipments, the material which is required for completing the function of OPDs. Thereafterwards, there should be a consultant who should give a consultation only into the OPD timings, into the premises of the OPD. There should be another assistant consultant who should provide a proper care to the patient, who should take down all the record of clinical symptoms and clinical findings of the patient into the outpatient department. And then that patient should be referred as per the need towards the consultant. And below to the consultant, there may be MPWs and nursing staff who should provide an assistance to the consultant for providing a high quality of care to the patients. So these are the functions of the OPD. This exactly should be the layout of the OPD. Now, what exactly are the different areas into the outpatient department which we are more interested in understanding those areas? Because we have to run OPDs. There are a lot of OPDs where there are problems like increased waiting time for patients. Patients are really getting frustrated for waiting into the long queues of the OPDs, those consultants who are providing a very high quality of care. In front of them, There are a lot of queues of the patients, and which are really disturbing to the patients as well as to the hospital authorities, and which is a source of a conflict for running any organization. Now, that is if that is the source of a conflict, then that particular source should be either be palliated, or it should be removed, or it should be given with a proper treatment. So that is what should be the exact nature of the OPD. When you are understanding an outpatient department, that outpatient department are having near about 4 individual areas to work. What are the various functions of that outpatient department's individual, we can say, the clinical area? What exactly are the functions? That in a patient's area, what should be the facilities that must be provided to the patients by the hospital staff? That there should be proper entrance, there should be a proper reception for the patient, where a receptionist should accept those patients or serve those patients with some smiling face. They should be given some knowledge regarding the IPDs and OPD at the entrance of the hospital only. The receptionists are responsible for giving the complete data related to the admitted patients as well as those patients who can be discharged. That information should be given at the entrance of the hospitals only. Now, why this important is required? That who are the patients who are suffering from any sort of problem, and they should be notified. If suppose the patients are suffering from renal failure, the patients are suffering from, say, tuberculosis infection, these patients' relatives, these patients' friends must be informed for the purpose of giving a proper care to the patients, for the purpose of giving a high quality of care to the patient. But to the patient's area, what should be the things which must be present for a patient? That the patient must be received at a proper entrance. They should receive the reception department. They should get the complete information onto the reception department. They should make their registrations onto the registration counters of the institutes. Then there should be a record room. There should be a desk. There should be a proper public utility services. There should be a proper snacks bar, clock room should be there, and public telephones must be made available. If the relatives want to inform their near and dear one for the purpose of getting moral support, then these things must be handled with care into the patient's area of the outpatient department. Now, what exactly are the various roles that are being played by the administrative people into the outpatient department? There should be administrative office. There should be public relation officers who should be going to sit into the public relation offices. Then there should be a proper accountant, and billing support must be provided to the patients with the correct information. A security element should be made available into this administrative area. Then storerooms must be kept for keeping the medical records, for initiating the further research. The storeroom plays a lot of important role in increasing the level of research. Now, when you are talking about the clinical area, now we have just talked about the patient's area, administrative area. Now we go into some deeper way for understanding the clinical area of the hospitals. Now, what are the clinical areas? That in a clinical area, the patients must be treated properly. There should be some waiting area, consulting chambers of different doctors of different specialties. There should be examination room, dressing room for patients. That outpatient department should possibly be attached with the minor OTs. There are certain ganglions that has to be removed from the skin. If you have to take some simple seizures, if you have to take some simple incision onto the skin of the patient, You must have the proper availability of the minor OTs. A pathological lab must be there within the OPD to have a quick diagnosis of various diseases which are somewhere can be spreaded through airborne infections. The diseases are tuberculosis, SARS, swine flu. These are the diseases, some of the diseases which are spreading through droplet infections, which are spreading through the airborne infections. Now, for these people, you must have a proper OT, you must have a proper pharmaceutical department attached with them for providing a quick care. You might be going to have an interdisciplinary approach, the interactive approach into your OPD, and which should be there. Because sometimes there would not be only the patients who have purchased the medicine onto the counter. You might have different patients who might came towards you, get a complete course of treatment. For them, you must have to make a quick area room for the purpose of providing a high quality of care. You must have a proper facility for giving a physiotherapist treatment. Then there should be a proper availability of the blood bank into the outpatient department. Now, this blood bank can be attached with the OPDs. Never you will find a blood bank into the OPD only, but these blood banks, they are somewhere associated with this outpatient department for the purpose of providing a high quality of care, for the purpose of reducing the minimum or we can say for the purpose of achieving a minimum loss of the blood. You must have a proper blood bank associated with your outpatient department. Now, what are the various other areas which are included into the outpatient department? They are nothing but they are the circulation area. Now, this circulation area, they may include stairs, they may include the lifts, they may include the conveyor belts, they may include the corridors. So these are the various areas of the outpatient department into the hospital. What are the various services that are being provided by the outpatient department? These are nothing but some of the services which we can understood. They are nothing but they are the diagnostic services. They can be therapeutic services which are being provided through the outpatient department. A simple outpatient department can provide a diagnostic services that they can regulate and monitor the blood pressure of the patient. They can regulate and observe the endoscopic conditions of the patient. They have an ability to provide a portable USG machines for diagnosing the various diseases. They must provide a proper 2D echo support for making the 2D echocardiograph of the patients. Then there should be a proper availability of the otoscope for observing any sort of foreign body infection into the patients. For them, these are the various services that are being provided to the diagnostic services of the OPD wing. What are the therapeutic services that are being provided by this outpatient department? They are nothing but a nebulizer, a simple nebulizer. Nowadays, if you are treating your patients, as you are, some of the students might be a doctor, if you are treating the patient, then what should be the kind of the treatment? You must provide a proper treatment to the patient. You must provide a proper availability of the nebulizer. If you are providing a facility of nebulization, the extension wire, the apparatus which are used for doing a nebulization must be sterile. It should not spread any sort of infection into the society. So that is required into the therapeutic services. Then there should be a proper availability of the laryngoscope, bronchoscope and defibrillator. If some of the patients, if they might suffer some anaphylactic reaction, then you must have an availability of all the emergency drugs, as well as you must have an ability, if or it is possible, then you can keep some laryngoscope, some defibrillator into your clinics. So these are the various therapeutic services that are being provided through the outpatient department. And what are the other services that are being provided by the outpatient department? The one major services which are being provided by the outpatient department is that of the monitoring of the patients. So you can monitor the pulse rate of the patient, you can monitor the oxygen saturation of the patients, you can monitor the cardiac activity of the patient, you can even diagnose the type of the acute cardiac attack in the form of understanding the readings of the ECGs, which have been taken with the help of the ECG machines. So there you can do the monitoring of these patients, and which are being done nowadays to the government officials for the purpose of avoidance of corona infections. Now, what are the other things that must be done and that must be understood while understanding the quality of healthcare into the society? That is nothing but that is the IV set. You must have a proper tracheostomy set. You must have a proper instrument trolley. We should contain all the emergency drugs. We should contain all the required facilities for running an OPD. These are the various equipments that are being utilized for the purpose of getting victory. So these are the various, we can say, the equipments must be utilized for the purpose of treating the patient. You must have availability of the IV set, tracheostomy set, instrument trolley. These are the instruments which must be utilized. If a patient is suffering from an anaphylactic reaction, you must be able to manage those patients with the help of defibrillator, with the help of laryngoscope, with the help of providing an emergency treatment. You must have the ability of the emergency medicines into your clinic. So that is the kind of equipment which must be kept into the outpatient department. What are the other equipments that must be kept? As per the requirement, you can increase or decrease the instruments which are required for running an OPD. What should be the staffing pattern of the OPD? Who should be the medical staff? The chief consultant of respective department, resident and interns in teaching hospitals. Some nursing staff were posted onto the rotational basis. Paramedical staff, technicians, security staff, housekeeping personnel, they must be the component of the OPD. So that is the staffing nature of the outpatient department. What is the exact process of the outpatient department? OPD process may differ from hospital to hospital according to their SOPs. Generally, it should be as follows. Like the patient, when they enter into the hospital, they should be received at the entrance of the hospitals into the reception area. Now, the reception area should issue them some tokens. What sort of the tokens that must be issued onto the OPD area? These tokens which are issued must be provided to the patients. These tokens must be provided to the patients for the purpose of making the registration. Then afterwards, what will be the effect of issuing a token? You will have a proper queue for a patient. The patient will not be going to waste their time, as well as there will not be more crowding of the patient. The waiting time of the patients into the OPD premises will be reduced because of issuing a token, because of implementation of a token system into your outpatient department. Now, when the patient has received the token, the patient should be registered into the record of the outpatient department. New and old patients, they have to be registered as per the cases. The case papers has to be given according to their required department. The nursing chambers should take the note of the visiting patients. There should be a proper waiting area. Now, this waiting area has a lot of importance. In a waiting area, the exact information related to the availability of the doctors, related to the availability of the turn of the patients into the hospitals, into the OPD. This waiting area should provide a comfortable sitting arrangement to all the patients as well as their relatives. Patients will wait for their turn outside the chambers into the waiting area. Into the consultant chambers, once the patient comes, he is sent to the chamber of the examination and health checkup. So into the consultant chambers, the OPD premises that starts. Now, what should be the facilities that must be provided into the consultant chambers? There should be a proper examination table for examining the patient. There should be arrangement of the basic equipments into the consultant chamber, like that of the for monitoring the blood pressure of the patient. You must have the BP apparatus. You must have the stethoscope. You must have the thermometer. You must have the torch for doing the oral examination or eye examination. The consultant should have all these equipments. Some of the other equipments, like, and the consultant must have the proper arrangement of their trolleys, and that trolley should contain the syringes, the trolley should contain the dressing material, trolley should contain all aseptic precautions liquids like that of the betadine, hydrogen peroxide, spirit. These all liquids which are required for taking aseptic precautions on the skin of the patient must be made available into the consultant chambers. These consultant chambers must have examination chair for examining the patients. Also, that consultant chamber must have a facility to make the sitting arrangement of the relatives of the patient, as well as into the consultant chamber. Some of the emergency drugs must be made available, like that of the AVF calling. If a patient suffers from anaphylactic reaction, the consultant, after giving, say, for example, some of the patients, they may demand that doctor, please give us the injectables into OPDs. So the doctors, they are giving the injectables, and if the patients, they are suffering from anaphylactic reactions into the consultant chamber, then they should be treated on emergency basis with the help of using this AVF calling. That is nothing but, that is a hydrocortisones, which are going to make a proper balance of fluid within the patients, which can regulate the blood pressure of the patient. What happens to the anaphylactic reaction of the patient? Suddenly, all the physiological functions, they are getting down. The blood pressure of the patient suddenly shoots down, and the patients, they are having a feeble pulse. They are going to show you the sign of cardiac arrest symptoms. Sometimes, if a patient has any sort of reactions related to the drugs which are administered into the OPD, they might go under anaphylactic reactions and they might lose their life. So to prevent their life, the consultant must have this arrangement of all emergency drugs. Even when I am working in my OPD, I am keeping all the availability of the emergency drugs. I am keeping atropine, dopamine. I am also keeping 25% of dextrose, darifylline, because you don't know what type of the patient they will come into your OPD and suddenly what you are supposed to do. So for that purpose, you must have arrangement of these drugs. You must have arrangement of primary investigation. Like, you must have arrangement of providing a glucometer to the patients, then by where you can easily diagnose what exactly is the RBS of the patient, as well as you will be going to understand that what should be the proper management of the patient into the OPD, into the consultant chambers. So these equipments must be made available into the outpatient department, into the consultant chambers. There should be an area of where into the one corner there should be arrangement of basin for hand wash of the doctors. There should be proper arrangement or sitting arrangement for the consultants. There should be proper availability of the lights into the outpatient department, into the consultant chambers, for observing all the affected parts of the areas of the body of the patients. This should be the proper arrangement of the outpatient department. Then outside the consultant chambers, outside the OPD, there should be a billing counter where the OPD fees has to be paid. Then there should be some space where you must make a facility for patients and their relatives to collect the reports of the investigations which has been done. So once the reports come, the patient can collect the report in this area, and the doctors, they can further guide what should be the precautions and what should be the treatment this must be given to the patients. Now, what are the other area of studies for doctors as well as for the manager of the hospitals? Because OPDs are also there into the hospitals. So what are the managerial issues which must be taken care of into the outpatient department? That is nothing but that is the OPD timings, appointment system, and the absenteeisms of the staff, quality management of the patient, public relation management, and the computerization. Now, when I am giving a treatment to the patient to the OPD, when the patients they are going to visit your OPD, the OPD timings should be followed well. The OPD timings must be fixed. There should be a proper appointment system. Nowadays, the OPDs appointments are being given not onto the token system, but some of the softwares, some of the medical application apps, medical services apps, they are providing these appointment systems like that of the Practo, Smink. I will tell you one my personal experience when I had visited a pediatrician to show my baby. There, when I had entered into that pediatric hospitals, and when I was supposed to get time for showing my baby into that OPD, what I had found that in that particular OPD, I had asked that whether you have taken an online appointment or offline appointment, because we have shut down the appointments onto the telephone system. Now, if you want an appointment, you just have to download one app from Play Store. That is a Swing app, where you will be able to know what will be your turn, and then you will be going to get an opportunity to show yourself and your baby to the consultant, where you can meet to the consultant. Now, such a sort of change because of the technology has been brought in running these OPDs. Now, there should be proper public relation management for the purpose of giving the correct information related to the services of the OPD. There should be computerization of all the data related to the recording of the symptoms of the patients. The case paper should be made, and there should be the case paper. Yes, even in OPD also you can make a case papers. That case paper might be helpful for some other medical students for doing some investigations, for doing some medical studies. So that's why this arrangement should be made into the outpatient department. So this is what is the outpatient department, and in this way, we've understood our unit 1. If you have any query, you can raise it right now. You can raise the queries. If you have any doubt, you can ask to me, you can mail to your mentor, and the mentor can pass it to us, and we can solve that query related to this topic, which we have discussed it right now in this session of 1 hour. So I'm not observing any sort of queries, any sort of questions. I think you have learned this topic very well and you can understood it very well. So thank you very much for listening this session, for attending this session. I'm thankful from all of Deputy and Center for Online Learning. So thank you very much.